How's it going, everyone? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before we begin, I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you for making this channel what it is. If you enjoy the content and you haven't done so already, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment in the comments section below. We are now approaching 200 subscribers. At the time of this video, we're at 140, and I guarantee we can reach 200. And with your help, we could accomplish that. With that being said, I wanted to compare my Nike Air Jordan 88 Retros. These sneakers are probably 11 years old at this point, and compare them to the Nike Air Reimagined 3s, which just dropped late last year. But before I begin talking about these shoes, I want to get into this as a side note because I wasn't paying attention. For you sneakerheads out there, don't do like what I did. And I think you guys are going to know exactly what I'm about to say. So, I haven't worn my Concord 11s in a while. There was a big scuff right here, which I was able to buff out. And then I used some silicone paste and plastics and all this cool stuff to really bring the toe boxes and the rest of the details of the PVC to life, or the patent leather. However, I wanted to de-yellow the bottoms of the soles. And because I wasn't paying attention, because my entire focus of the day was to clean up the 88 Retros and repaint them and stuff, what do you think I did? I wasn't paying attention, and is it this shoe? Yeah, it's this shoe. I got sole separation for leaving them out in the sun for too long. It's an easy fix. I got to get me some barred cement and stuff like that, maybe some clamps and big rubber bands, but it's not a big deal. It happens with these shoes. If you guys own Concords, you know that they are susceptible to this yellowing on the bottom. It was way worse. Let me tell you, it looked like dog poop was on the bottom of my shoes. But I got them to this point. But like I said, the problem is I left them out for too long. I should have did it in baby steps, but I wasn't paying attention because I was focused on the 88 Retros. So just as a side note, guys, be careful when you do this. You will get sole separation. So I can always fix this in my leisure because these aren't really in my regular rotation like my other sneakers are. But anyway, let's get into the stars of the show. The 88 Retros, which came out over a decade ago, and the 88 Reimagines. Let me tell you, with some of the Reimagines, like I didn't bother trying to get the 4 Reimagines because I already have enough pairs of 4s. You know, and I have a whole bunch of different colorways, so I really didn't want to, go out of my way to spend another, $200, $300 on, reissued 4s. I only got these because they are so close to the OG colorway, the way they were actually designed. I mean, they're very close. When you actually see photos of the OG, or you see certain YouTubers that own and restore the OGs, they're awesome. And I love the aged look because, as you know, most Jordans, they do age, i.e., look at my Concords, how yellow they are on the bottom. I mean, they look a lot better now, but, they really got it right. They got it absolutely right. But anyway, with that being said, I don't play favorites with these two shoes because the 88 Retros do capture the look and feel of the Reimagines or the OGs. So I'm not going to pick favorites here. I love them both in the same way. These are in my regular rotation, and I think I have over, 2 dozen, maybe even 30 pairs of J's and Reeboks and stuff at this point. So, but I wear these the most. So I tend to take care of them a lot more. But anyway, I'm really not going to pick and choose. I'm just going to grab whatever shoe off the table so that this way we can do a good comparison. So on the back, let's move the 88 Retro this way. And then we'll look at the Reimagined. So now we got the Reimagined here. We got the 88 Retro there. And please forgive the background noise. There's a construction crew. I think they're fixing a sewer on the outside of the property there. So forgive me for that. But anyway, we take a look at both of these shoes. Here's the 88 Reimagined, and then we got the 88 Retro from, I guess, 11 years ago. And immediately you can see the differences between the two shoes. Now, mind you, I just repainted these and cleaned them today, so they are fairly clean, though there's a few little details I left on the shoe because I want this shoe to have the used look like this one does. because I've had these since they first came out. And again, like I said, they've been in my regular rotation. I want them to have some kind of patina on them. They don't have to be perfect. And by the way, they're sneakers. They're going to get dirty. You know what I mean? I'm not there with a baby wipe, like cleaning them all the time. So they're going to get dirty. And when the time comes to paint them and fix them, today was that day. So anyway, we take a look at the two shoes. I love this because the Nike Air Jordan 4 white cements have that real thick black look on them. And that's how the shoes were back in the days. I mean, it really, really brings the shoe to life that they brought back that real heavy font versus this. Now, I just repainted these today, and it looks very thin and leaves a lot to be desired versus the Reimagined, but it still captures the look of the OG3s. Not going to complain. It's just a minor nitpick. You can see the cuts on the heel tabs are just a little different. This one's thinner than this one. This one's a little bit more bigger and pronounced. The elephant print is clearly different between the two shoes. Now, I know there were QC issues, just like with the Travis Scotts. I've complained about that here on the channel. You guys can go back and watch, past videos of that. I will probably be making a comparison video between the Repros and the Travis Scott 4s that I got. But I know there were QC issues on those shoes, and these shoes definitely had QC issues because some pairs had printing that was thick on one shoe like this and thin like this. This is more faithful to the OG than these are. On my copies of the Reimagined, that's not an issue. Though arguably, maybe in one section of my 88 Reimagined, especially on the right foot, is maybe a little thinner than on the left foot. So I'm really not going to get into it or complain about it. It's just a minor nitpick here. You can see the differences right there on the toe boxes. So it's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me. They're fairly close to each other. But I know a lot of guys, they got these, man, and the shoes were completely different from each other. So, and I'm going to assume a lot of guys are reselling them on eBay. So, but my copies weren't that bad. So I got lucky. Anyway, so you look at the elephant print, you can definitely tell that there's a huge difference between this shoe, the 88 Retro versus the Reimagined. That's just how they came. And again, you can see on my back tab here, it's starting to yellow only because I've wore these so much and they've survived all these years because of me taking care of them versus the fake old look that the Reimagined's got. And I love that because Jordans do they do tend to turn yellow, It happens. So to accelerate that process, I guess, or just painting them to look old like that, I love it. I love it. I love that vintage old look. To me, man, some sneakers, they just have a certain character about them. They don't have to be pristine. You don't have to clean them with a baby wipe or anything like that, or take your thumb and go, lick it and then start cleaning off the dirt. There's a certain charm about sneakers having the old look to them or the used look. And I love that. I appreciate that Nike did that. So anyway, like I said, these are aging naturally, although these got a repaint today, and they got a good cleaning today, and the Nike Air on the back was repainted. But anyway, like I said, the elephant print here is much more pronounced on the 88s versus the Reimagined. Now we turn the shoes off to the side, and you're going to see even more differences as we examine the shoe. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do in this case is switch and have two left foots up there. So now we look at the two left foots. I don't know what I did with the Nike Air tag for this guy. I have no idea where it went. But over time, it happens. Oh, well, like I said, I wore these shoes in my regular rotation than any other shoe that I have. But again, you can see how prominent the elephant print is on these shoes versus these shoes here. You can see the ventilation holes and the cuts at the ankles are way different. And I believe this is a lot more accurate to the OGs than these guys are. Obviously, I have the Nike Air tag on the Reimagined. I don't know what happened with the tag on these guys here, but that's a nice touch. As you can see, mine have been authenticated by eBay, so they're legit, just like these guys here. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't know what happened with the tag. But anyway, you look at the weep holes and the vent holes on both shoes here and here on the eyelets. It's more pronounced on the 3 Reimagined versus the 88 Retros. And even the eye holes are yellowed and aged. I love that. The stitching is a lot more clean on the Reimagines than it was on the 88 Retro. You can see how nice that looks versus this. Though, like I said, I just repainted these today, so the stitching might be a little bit more pronounced, so the camera might be deceiving your eyes. But I like the cleaner stitching on the Reimagined shoes. One thing that's definitely different between the two shoes, is the leather. You can see the tumbled leather on both shoes. It's definitely more pronounced. Now, mind you, both of my 88 Retros have a crease on the toe box, and I've only wore these twice. So, but you could still see the tumbled leather. That's how it was fresh out of the box. This is a lot more softer and supple. This one's a little bit more tough, which is why I think they've lasted for so long. And these sneakers have definitely taken a beating over the years. But anyway, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. That's why I keep getting tongue-tied. I don't script my videos. I just speak my mind. So anyway, the ventilation holes on the tongue here are much more subtle than they are on the 88 Retro. There's a lot more of them, and there's a bigger concentration of them, is what I'm trying to say. The tongues are definitely different. That's one huge difference between the two shoes. So the padding on the Reimagine is much more thinner, and you can see the padding on the tongue here is much more thinner than the padding on the tongue here. Both shoes on my feet are comfortable. I really don't notice a difference, though these kind of feel a little bit more lighter. Maybe that's just a placebo effect. I have no idea. But I believe it was more accurate to have the padding on these shoes like this than it was on the 88 Retro. I think that's just something that they did, by happenstance. I don't know. You guys can talk about it in the comments. But the padding here is clearly thinner on the Reimagined than it is on the 88s. Even the tongues are different, and this one is thicker. As a matter of fact, the cuts on the toes, on the toe boxes, now forgive me if I'm banging the camera here, the Reimagines have a straighter cut as far as the soles are concerned, whereas the 88 Retros have a much sharper cut. And again, both shoes fit me comfortably. I don't have any issues or anything like that, but it's just the curvature of the 88 Retro is a lot more pronounced than it is here on the Reimagine. And again, forgive me for banging into the camera. And you can clearly see the widow's peak, which I believe is a feature of the OG, whereas the 88s don't have that. At least on my copies, they don't have that. So, and I think that was true for all the 88 Retros that were released years ago. So there's the widow's peak. I believe that's an actual feature from the OG. You can see again, right by the shoelaces there, you can see the vent holes are a lot more subtle on the Reimagines than they are on the 88 Retros. And even the toe box, the way the toe box is cut is even a little different. It's a lot more straight on the 88. On the Reimagine here on the left than it is on the 88s on the right. Now we're going to take a look at the toe boxes. That's where you're going to see a little bit of a difference. Though for me, it's not a big deal. And again, I know a lot of guys had QC issues with the Reimagines, but look at the differences between the elephant print on the 88 Retro versus the Reimagined. It's completely out of whack. It's cut like whatever, Either somebody probably was snoozing behind the machine while they were assembling these shoes, or maybe, they were drunk, or who knows, maybe they have cataracts, I don't know. But clearly the cut of the elephant print on this shoe is just all over the place. And that's universal on both of my 88 Retros. So I'm actually going to put both shoes together. And when you look at both 88 Retros, you can see like the cuts on the elephant print here on the toe box. It's just all over the place. So if you want to complain about QC issues, and you should be, especially if you guys pick up a pair of these, just keep a lookout for that. God, look at the difference between the two toe boxes and the elephant print. They're just way, way out of whack. So, and then now you look at the Reimagined 3s, and they are just perfect. They're symmetrical. They just look so clean. I mean, Nike really got it right with these shoes. When it comes to a retro OG color, OG release with the OG colorway, they got it right with this pair. So, again, you see the widow's peaks. I mean, Nike really, really got it right. And again, on my copy of the Reimagined, I don't have, the issues with the elephant print. They're very symmetrical, though this one, arguably, you can say it's a little lighter than this shoe here. But with that being said, I'm not complaining. So let's bring back the left shoe of the 88 Retro. Again, you can even see, I'm going to pan the camera up here a little bit. You can even see on the tongues how pronounced this tongue is versus this tongue, and how you can see how thick that padding is up there. So, and again, look at the toe boxes. They're just, God, Nike definitely dropped the ball on this. I mean, I love these shoes. I wear them more than any other shoe in my collection. And again, they're over a decade old. But, I mean, look at the differences, night and day, between the two toe boxes. I mean, I'm sorry, but in this case, the Reimagineds win the contest. But anyway, like I said, these were worn quite a bit. I mean, you look at the leather between the two of these. This is a much more softer, very nice leather compared to the 88 Retro, and I think that's why these shoes survived as long as they have. I've taken care of these with leather conditioner, Armor All, anything that keeps the leather moist and pliable, and that's why I believe these lasted for so long. But, obviously today I gave them a repaint and a cleaning, and they look really nice, though you could really see that these have been repainted because, you look at the threads on both shoes, they look painted. But I tell you what, they're wearable, they're presentable, and frankly, I don't care. They're my shoes. Oh, well. Some guys, who are nitpicking and, who are sneaker snobs, I couldn't give a rat's what. So, oops. My shoes, my money, my camera. Almost knocked my camera over. Again, guys, you get this raw, unscripted, 100% right off the cuff. So anyway, again, I mean, I love both shoes equally. Even on the bottom here, here's where you see the difference. So even though these are dirtier and they're older versus these guys, which again, I've only wore 2 times, this is where the differences really start to show. Besides the leather and certain cosmetic differences, the Reimagined has the Nike on the bottom versus the 88 Retro, which has Jordan brand on the bottom. So there's a major difference right there. So I personally love the fact that it says Nike on the back. I love the fact that these Jordans, and I know that Jordan brand has reissued versions of these shoes with the Jumpman on the back. Personally, I'm not a fan of the Jumpman. On certain shoes, it fits. But if you're going to release an OG colorway, in my opinion, stay away from the Jumpman. Guys, please, Nike, Jordan brand, help us. Like what you did with the Jordan 4 Retros. When the first versions of those came out with the big Jumpman on the back, they looked fugly. And then when they dropped again, I believe in 2016 is when they came out. You guys can correct me in the comments section, but I love the fact they had Nike Air on the back. OG colorways should have Nike Air, period, on the back, and should have Nike on the bottom. But that's a big, big thing right there. So, for the sake of proper English, there you go. Jordan versus Nike. I like that a lot better. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, besides the little cosmetic differences here, even when you put them side to side like that, if you want to see the heights of both shoes, I mean, the cuts on the ankle are slightly different. And this has, at least to my eyes, a little bit more of a curvature. These are arguably, the 88 Retros are slightly taller than these, whereas the leather is taller than the tab on the back. So it's little things like that that really, really distinguish the two shoes. But again, I love both shoes equally. They both have their issues. They both have their similarities. They both have their differences. If I were to pick one that's as close to the OG as you're going to get, the Reimagined definitely is it. But again, I'm not going to disparage the Nike Air 88 retros here from a couple of years ago. They're just as good, just as classic. They have the look and the feel of the OGs, but these definitely knock it out of the park. Again, I'm not playing favorites here. I love both shoes equally. So that's pretty much it, everybody. With that being said, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And by the way, while I'm here, I might as well show off the paint job that I did on both shoes. So we'll take a look at the left first. Again, I'm no painting expert. You know, I've been learning over time painting techniques and stuff. And again, there's going to be little wrinkles here and there. The toe cap is going to be wrinkled. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. I know sneaker snobs out there will probably bitch, moan, whine, and complain. But please forgive me again. They're working on replacing the sewer caps out there. But anyway, you can see the elephant print. You know, I took a wire brush to it. It looks really clean now. Again, there's still some patina left on the shoe, which is fine. It's wearable. It's doable. Doesn't really bother me. And then we'll take a look at the right shoe. Oh, and I did replace the shoelaces with something very similar to Jordan brand or Nike shoelaces. Doesn't bother me if they're not authentic sneakers. It's my money. I'll do what I want with it. My shoes. I'll do what I want with them. So sneaker snobs can punch their keyboards all they want. See, like things like that, I could have filled all this in, but I'm like, you know what? I want that patina. I want them to look old. I want certain details to remain as is. So, you know, some of my paint was a little wonky here and there, but I tell you what, they're wearable, they're comfortable, and I shall continue wearing them. Kicks drop. Instead of mic drop. All right, anyway, guys, this video is already over 20 minutes. So, again, thank you, everyone, for checking out my content. Like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, my friends, I am your host, the Carolina Collector. Stay safe. God bless. Take care. And I will see you soon.